Have you ever wondered what your mind is doing right now while you're simply lying there in quiet? As your eyes slowly begin to grow heavy and your body starts to relax, something remarkable is happening inside you. Because within your mind, an entire world is awake. Your mind is a little like a calm ocean. On the surface, everything may seem still and peaceful, but deep below, countless waves are constantly moving. Every single second, billions of signals are racing through your brain. Memories are forming, emotions are shifting, and thoughts appear suddenly, like stars lighting up a dark night sky. Sometimes one tiny thought can change the mood of your entire day. And sometimes a forgotten memory quietly returns, pulling you back to another moment in your life. What's fascinating is that we spend every moment living with our minds, yet we rarely pause long enough to truly understand how they work. Tonight, we're going to slowly step into that mysterious inner world together. There's no rush, no noise, just gentle ideas and a few fascinating discoveries from science that may slowly guide you towards sleep. So go ahead and get comfortable. Let your breathing slow down. Let the tension in your body soften, and allow your thoughts to drift wherever they want to go. Because during this quiet journey, we'll explore how your mind actually works, how it creates memories, emotions, and the sense of being you. And along the way, you may discover something surprising, that while your body rests, your mind is quietly shaping the way you see the world. If you enjoy calm explorations like this, feel free to like the video, subscribe, and share a thought in the comments below. It really helps others find their way here too, one peaceful listener at a time. But for now, there's nothing you need to do. Just relax, listen, and let your mind gently drift as we begin this quiet journey together. For a moment, allow yourself to become still. Let the quiet around you settle like a soft blanket, gently covering the noise of the day. There is nothing you need to solve right now, nowhere you need to hurry. Just the slow rhythm of your breathing, rising and falling, as the mind begins to wander through its own hidden landscape. The human mind is not a single place or object you can point to. Instead, it is more like a living process, constantly shifting, adjusting, and responding to the world around you. Inside your brain, billions of tiny cells called neurons are communicating every second. They pass signals back and forth through small bursts of electricity and chemical messengers, forming the patterns that become thoughts, memories, and emotions. What makes this even more fascinating is that these signals never truly stop. Even when you are resting quietly, your brain remains active. In fact, some of its most interesting work happens when you are calm and relaxed, when the mind is allowed to drift without pressure. Scientists often describe the brain as a prediction machine. Rather than simply reacting to the world, it constantly tries to guess what will happen next. Long before your eyes fully recognize a shape, or your ears identify a sound, your brain has already begun forming expectations about what it might be. This ability helps make the world feel smooth and continuous. Without prediction, every sound and movement would arrive too slowly for us to respond. Catching a falling object, understanding speech in a crowded room, or stepping aside from danger would all become much harder. Your brain quietly fills the tiny gaps between events so that reality feels seamless. Because of this, perception is not just about what your senses detect, it is also about what your brain expects to find.
Imagine tasting the same drink from two different bottles, one labeled expensive and the other ordinary. Many people describe the expensive drink as richer or smoother, even though the liquid is identical. Experiments like this reveal something important. Our expectations can gently shape what we experience. The brain blends information from the senses with memories, beliefs, and past experiences, creating the version of reality that we feel. This process happens constantly, usually without us noticing. A familiar voice becomes recognizable after only a few syllables. A shadow in the distance quickly becomes a tree or a person in your mind before your eyes fully confirm it. In a way, your brain is always editing the world, smoothing details, filling gaps, and building a story that makes sense. And as you continue resting there, breathing slowly, those same quiet processes are still unfolding inside you. Signals travel across vast networks of neurons, linking sensation, memory, and imagination together. The remarkable thing is that this invisible activity forms the foundation of every moment you experience. Even now, as your body relaxes further and your thoughts begin to soften, your mind is gently preparing for the next layer of this journey inward.
As the mind continues drifting through this quiet landscape, it helps to remember something remarkable. The brain does not simply observe the body. In many subtle ways, it can also influence how the body feels. One of the most fascinating examples of this is something scientists call the placebo effect. At first glance, it seems almost unbelievable. In medical studies, some people are given a pill that contains no active medicine at all. It might be made of sugar or a harmless powder. Yet within minutes, many of them report real relief from pain. For a long time, researchers wondered if this relief was simply imagination. But modern brain scans have revealed something far more interesting. When people believe they are receiving real treatment, certain areas of the brain begin to change their activity. These areas are closely connected with the body's pain control systems. In fact, the brain can release its own natural chemicals that behave very similarly to powerful painkillers. These chemicals travel through the nervous system and reduce the intensity of pain signals before they fully reach conscious awareness. In other words, belief itself can trigger a biological response. Scientists have even tested this effect using medications that block opioid receptors, the same receptors used by the body's natural pain-relieving chemicals. When those receptors are blocked, the placebo relief often disappears. This shows that the relief was never imaginary. The brain had actually released real chemistry. But the story becomes even more interesting when researchers look at what strengthens this response. The placebo effect often grows stronger when a person feels safe, supported, and confident in the treatment they are receiving. Small details matter more than we might expect. The calm voice of a doctor, the environment of a clinic, even the appearance of a pill can subtly influence how strongly the brain responds. These signals tell the nervous system that help is arriving. When the brain receives that message, it begins adjusting the body even before any medicine enters the bloodstream. Heart rate can shift, muscles may relax, pain signals can be softened. Scientists sometimes refer to this as the brain's internal pharmacy. Inside the body are powerful chemicals capable of easing pain, calming stress, and stabilizing emotion.
Under the right conditions, the brain can release these substances on its own. What makes this discovery so fascinating is that it blurs the line between mind and body. Thoughts and expectations, which feel intangible, can still produce measurable biological changes. And yet, this process is not about pretending pain does not exist. Pain signals still travel through the nervous system from injured tissues, but the brain acts like a control center, adjusting the intensity of those signals before they reach awareness. Sometimes it turns the volume down. As you continue to rest there quietly, breathing slow and steady, it is interesting to realize that your brain is constantly balancing these signals. It listens to the body, but it also listens to your expectations, your memories, and your sense of safety. All of these elements blend together to shape how each sensation is finally experienced. And as scientists continued studying this strange connection between belief and biology, they discovered something equally powerful. The mind can also move in the opposite direction.
As researchers explored this delicate connection between belief and biology, they began noticing something equally powerful but far less comforting. If positive expectations could reduce pain and calm the body, then negative expectations might do the opposite. This phenomenon is known as the nocebo effect. While the placebo effect can bring relief, the nocebo effect can create discomfort even when no real harm is present. In some clinical trials, patients were warned that a treatment might cause headaches, nausea, or fatigue. Surprisingly, many participants reported exactly those symptoms, even when they were given completely harmless pills. At first, this result puzzled scientists. How could a simple warning lead to real physical symptoms? But brain imaging studies revealed an important clue. When people expect something unpleasant to happen, the brain begins activating its threat detection systems. Regions involved in anxiety, vigilance, and pain anticipation become more active. The brain prepares the body as if danger might be approaching. Stress hormones begin to rise, muscles subtly tighten, attention becomes sharper, scanning the body for any unusual sensation. A tiny, harmless signal that might normally go unnoticed can suddenly feel intense. A small tingle becomes a sharp ache. A passing pressure becomes a worrying symptom. In this way, expectation can amplify normal sensations until they feel alarming. Doctors and researchers have learned from these discoveries. Today, many medical professionals try to explain treatments carefully without unintentionally planting fear. Clear information is still important, but the way that information is delivered can influence how the brain interprets it. Some clinics now combine discussions of possible side effects with reassurance and coping strategies. When patients feel informed but also supported, the brain remains calmer and symptoms often appear less frequently. The nervous system, it seems, is always listening for signals about whether the world is safe or threatening. Language, tone, and context can quietly shape those signals. This does not mean symptoms are imagined or fake. The body's reactions are real. Hormones change, muscles respond, and the nervous system adjusts its sensitivity. The experience is genuine, even if the original trigger came from expectation rather than injury. In a way, the brain is constantly interpreting meaning. Every sensation passes through layers of interpretation before it becomes the feeling you experience. The mind asks quiet questions behind the scenes. Is this important? Is it dangerous? Should attention focus here? Most of the time, these decisions happen so smoothly that we never notice them. But moments like the nocebo effect reveal how powerful those hidden interpretations can be.
They remind us that the brain is not simply receiving information from the body, it is actively shaping that information, adjusting how strongly signals are felt and how urgently they demand attention. And as the night grows quieter and your breathing slows, it can be strangely comforting to realize that the mind is always working behind the scenes, balancing signals between expectation and sensation, sometimes easing them, sometimes amplifying them, all in an effort to protect and guide the body through the world. But expectation does not only influence how the body feels, it can also change how the world itself appears to your senses.
As this quiet exploration continues, it becomes clear that expectation does not only influence the body, it can also shape how the world itself appears to your senses. At first, this idea may sound unusual. After all, it feels as though your eyes simply capture what is in front of you, and your ears faithfully record the sounds around you. But the truth is a little more complex and far more interesting. Your brain does not passively receive reality. Instead, it actively builds it. Every moment, your senses send enormous amounts of information to the brain. As this quiet exploration continues, it becomes clear that expectation does not only influence the body, it can also shape how the world itself appears to your senses. At first, this idea may sound unusual. After all, it feels as though your eyes simply capture what is in front of you, and your ears faithfully record the sounds around you. But the truth is a little more complex and far more interesting. Your brain does not passively receive reality. Instead, it actively builds it. Every moment, your senses send enormous amounts of information to the brain. Light enters the eyes, vibrations reach the ears, and tiny pressure signals travel from the skin. But the raw data arriving from the senses is incomplete and often noisy. To make sense of it all quickly, the brain relies on predictions. Before the full sensory picture arrives, your mind already begins guessing what it expects to see or hear. These predictions are based on past experiences, memories, and patterns learned over many years. In many cases, this system works beautifully. It allows you to recognize a friend's voice before they finish speaking, or identify an object with only a quick glance. The brain fills in missing details so smoothly that the world feels stable and continuous. But sometimes expectation becomes so strong that it slightly reshapes perception itself. Scientists have demonstrated this in a number of simple experiments. In one study, participants were given identical glasses of wine. Some were told the wine was very expensive, while others were told it was cheap. Even though the liquid was the same, people consistently described the expensive wine as richer, smoother, and more enjoyable. Brain scans later revealed that areas associated with pleasure were actually more active when participants believed they were tasting something valuable. The label had changed the experience. A similar effect appears with color and flavor. If a drink is dyed a brighter color, people may report that it tastes sweeter or stronger, even when the recipe has not changed at all. These results reveal something subtle about perception. Your brain does not simply read information from the senses. Instead, it combines incoming signals with expectations, constantly updating its best guess about what is happening right now. Scientists sometimes describe this process as predictive perception. The brain is always asking a quiet question: what is most likely happening right now? Incoming sensory signals either confirm that guess or gently adjust it. Most of the time, this process works so smoothly that we never notice it. The world feels immediate and obvious.
But sometimes the brain's predictions can lead to small illusions. You might suddenly notice a sound only after someone points it out. Or you might mishear a word in a noisy room because your brain guessed the wrong phrase at first. These tiny mistakes reveal just how active the mind truly is. Your brain is constantly editing the stream of reality, smoothing gaps, interpreting signals, and building the experience you call the present moment. And as your thoughts grow slower and quieter tonight, the same gentle process continues within you. Your brain is still predicting, interpreting, and shaping every sensation, quietly preparing for whatever comes next.
As the mind continues its quiet work of prediction and interpretation, something even more fascinating begins to appear. Your brain is not only responding to the present moment, in many ways, it is always leaning slightly into the future. Scientists often describe the brain as a prediction engine, constantly building models of what it expects to happen next. Every fraction of a second, it compares incoming sensory information with those predictions, adjusting them where necessary. This ability is what allows life to feel smooth and continuous rather than delayed or fragmented. Imagine trying to catch a falling object if your brain waited for every signal to fully arrive before reacting. By the time your eyes confirmed the movement and your muscles responded, the object would already be on the floor. Instead, the brain predicts motion before it fully happens. As soon as your eyes detect the beginning of a movement, the brain quickly calculates where that object will be a moment later. Your muscles then move toward that predicted position. In a sense, you are always acting slightly ahead of the present. The same process helps you understand speech. When someone begins a sentence, your brain rapidly predicts the possible words that might come next. Even in a noisy room, this predictive system allows you to follow conversations with surprising ease. You are not simply hearing words, you are anticipating them. Researchers studying brain activity have found that neural signals related to expectation often appear before the brain fully processes sensory input. The mind prepares itself for what it believes is about to happen. Most of the time, these predictions are extremely accurate. Your brain has spent a lifetime learning patterns from the world around you. It knows how voices sound, how objects move, how light behaves, and how people usually respond in familiar situations. All of this knowledge quietly shapes your moment-to-moment experience. But the predictive nature of the brain can also create small surprises. Occasionally, your expectations and reality do not match perfectly. When that happens, the brain quickly adjusts its internal model. You might momentarily think you see someone you recognize in a crowd, only to realize a second later that it is a stranger. Or you may expect a step on a staircase that is not actually there, causing your body to stumble slightly as your brain recalibrates. These small moments reveal the brain updating its predictions in real time. What is remarkable is how rarely we notice this constant adjustment. The mind works tirelessly behind the scenes, stitching together sensory signals and expectations to create a seamless experience of the world. Without this ability, everyday life would feel strangely disjointed, like watching a series of delayed snapshots rather than living inside a continuous moment. As you continue resting there, letting the quiet of the night settle around you, your brain is still performing this delicate balancing act. Signals flow through vast networks of neurons, predictions form and update, and your mind gently organizes the experience of being here. And while this predictive system keeps the present moment smooth and understandable, scientists have recently discovered something astonishing. Under the right conditions, it may even allow us to glimpse what someone else is seeing inside their mind. As scientists continued exploring the brain's predictive nature, a fascinating question began to emerge. If thoughts and perceptions are created by patterns of neural activity, could those patterns be observed closely enough to reveal what someone is seeing or imagining? For many years, this idea sounded like science fiction. The mind was considered a completely private world, hidden safely inside the skull. But modern technology has slowly begun to change that assumption. Using advanced brain imaging tools, researchers can now observe how different areas of the brain respond while a person looks at images, listens to sounds, or remembers experiences. One of the most important tools for this work is functional magnetic resonance imaging, often called fMRI. This technology does not read thoughts directly. Instead, it detects tiny changes in blood flow within the brain. When a group of neurons becomes active, it requires more oxygen and energy. Blood flow increases in that region, creating a faint signal that scanners can measure. Over time, scientists realized something remarkable. Different kinds of images create distinct patterns of activity across the brain. For example, when a person looks at a face, certain visual areas respond strongly. When they see landscapes, buildings, or moving objects, other regions become more active. By collecting large amounts of data, researchers began teaching computers to recognize these patterns. Artificial intelligence systems were trained to compare brain activity with the images people were viewing at the same time. Slowly, the computers learned how certain neural patterns corresponded to particular visual features. Eventually, scientists attempted something extraordinary. Instead of simply observing brain activity, they asked the computer to reconstruct what the person might be seeing based only on the neural signals. The results were blurry and imperfect, but still astonishing. Shapes, outlines, and general forms began to appear in the reconstructed images. Faces could sometimes be recognized. Simple movie scenes could be roughly recreated. It was as if the computer had glimpsed a faint shadow of the person's perception. These experiments revealed that thoughts and perceptions leave measurable fingerprints within the brain's activity. The mind may feel mysterious and intangible, yet its processes are grounded in physical patterns of electrical and chemical signals. For now, this technology remains limited. It cannot read complex thoughts or private memories. The reconstructions are still rough approximations rather than clear images. But the progress has opened new possibilities. Some researchers imagine that future versions of this technology could help people who cannot speak communicate their thoughts. Others wonder whether dreams or memories might someday be visualized through similar methods. Of course, such possibilities also raise important questions about privacy and ethics. The mind has always been a deeply personal space. Still, these discoveries reveal something profound. The private world inside your mind, filled with images, sounds, and memories, is not entirely invisible. It is built from physical patterns of activity that science is slowly learning to observe. And as your own mind drifts gently through this quiet moment, billions of neurons are continuing their silent conversation. Signals flash across intricate networks, shaping every image, thought, and sensation you experience. Yet, even with all this understanding, the brain can still surprise us. Because sometimes the mind creates experiences that feel real, even when nothing in the outside world is actually there. As researchers looked deeper into how the brain builds perception, they discovered something both fascinating and humbling. Sometimes the brain does not simply interpret reality. Sometimes it quietly invents parts of it. This may sound surprising, but it happens more often than you might think. Your brain is constantly trying to make sense of incomplete information. The signals coming from your eyes, ears, and skin are rarely perfect. Light can be dim, sounds may overlap, and objects may be partly hidden. To solve this problem, the brain fills in missing details. Most of the time, this process works beautifully. It allows you to recognize a familiar face in a crowd, even when you only glimpse it for a second. It helps you read words even when a few letters are missing. But this same ability can also lead to illusions. A simple example can be found in optical illusions. Two lines may appear different lengths even when they are exactly the same. Colors may seem brighter or darker depending on the shades surrounding them. Nothing about the physical image changes. Instead, your brain interprets the signals in a particular way based on context and expectation. The mind is always trying to create the most useful explanation for what it senses. In most situations, this system helps you move through the world quickly and safely. But when the brain receives too little information, it sometimes fills the gaps with guesses that turn out to be incorrect. Under certain conditions, these guesses can become surprisingly vivid. People who spend long periods in darkness or silence sometimes begin noticing faint sounds or brief flashes of light that are not actually present. The brain, searching for patterns, generates sensations on its own. Stress and exhaustion can sometimes produce similar effects. When the brain becomes overloaded or deprived of clear signals, it may begin creating its own interpretations to maintain a sense of order. In rare cases, this can lead to full hallucinations, where a person sees or hears things that feel completely real. What is remarkable is that these experiences arise from the same system that normally helps us understand the world. The brain is always balancing incoming information with internal predictions. When that balance shifts too far toward prediction, perception can begin to drift away from reality. But in everyday life, the brain usually keeps this balance very stable. The result is the seamless world you experience each day. Colors appear steady, objects remain solid, and sounds seem to come from clear sources around you. All of this stability is created by the mind's constant effort to organize sensory signals into a meaningful story. As you rest quietly now, your own brain is performing this same quiet work. Even with your eyes closed, neural activity continues across visual regions, memory networks, and emotional centers. Thoughts appear, fade, and transform. Sometimes they arrive clearly, other times they drift like distant echoes. And beneath this calm flow of experience, another fascinating discovery about the brain waits to be explored. Because under very unusual circumstances, scientists have observed something that challenges our deepest assumptions about the mind. It suggests that the sense of being a single, unified self may be more delicate than we imagine. As scientists continued investigating the strange and subtle workings of the brain, they encountered a discovery that challenged one of our deepest assumptions: the idea that the mind is always a single, unified voice. Most of us experience life as one continuous sense of self. Your thoughts feel like they belong to one person. Your actions feel guided by one decision maker. But under rare medical circumstances, researchers have observed something unexpected. In certain patients, the connection between the two halves of the brain has been surgically separated. The human brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right, and these halves normally communicate through a thick bundle of nerve fibers known as the corpus callosum. This connection allows information to travel quickly between both sides, helping the brain function as a coordinated system. In the past, surgeons sometimes cut this connection to treat severe epilepsy when seizures could not be controlled by medication. By separating the hemispheres, they could prevent electrical storms from spreading across the entire brain. What scientists discovered in these patients was astonishing. Each half of the brain appeared capable of acting somewhat independently. In carefully designed experiments, researchers presented images to only one side of a patient's visual field. Because each hemisphere processes information from the opposite side of the visual world, the image would be received by only one half of the brain. When an object was shown to the right visual field, the left hemisphere could easily name it aloud. But when the same object was shown only to the left visual field, the patient often said they saw nothing at all. Yet something curious still happened. Even though the patient could not verbally describe the object, their left hand, controlled by the right hemisphere, could correctly point to the matching object among several choices. It was as if one half of the brain knew something that the other half could not explain. In some cases, the two hands even seemed to disagree with each other. One hand might reach for a shirt, while the other hand pushed it away. These strange moments revealed that the brain is not controlled by a single central commander. Instead, it's more like a collection of specialized systems working together. Under normal conditions, the connections between these systems are so smooth that we experience them as one unified mind. But when those connections are interrupted, the hidden complexity of the brain becomes visible. This discovery has led scientists to rethink the nature of consciousness itself. The feeling of being one person with one stream of thoughts may actually be the result of many different brain processes blending together seamlessly. Your sense of identity is not produced by one single place inside the brain. It emerges from cooperation between many networks working in harmony. As you lie quietly now, your own brain continues this remarkable coordination. Signals travel constantly between regions responsible for memory, attention, emotion, and perception. Together, they create the quiet feeling of being present inside your own thoughts. And while this delicate system usually works effortlessly, scientists have also discovered something equally fascinating about how the brain handles one of the most powerful sensations of all: pain. As this quiet journey through the mind continues, we arrive at a sensation that every human being understands in some form: pain. At first, it may seem simple. Something in the body is injured, nerves carry a signal, and the brain registers discomfort. But scientists have learned that pain is far more complex than that straightforward path suggests. Pain is not just a message sent from the body to the brain. In many ways, it is a decision the brain makes after interpreting many different signals at once. When tissues are damaged, sensory nerves send warning signals through the spinal cord toward the brain. These signals carry important information about heat, pressure, and injury. Yet before those signals even reach conscious awareness, the brain begins evaluating them. Deep inside the brainstem and surrounding areas exists a network that can adjust the strength of pain signals as they travel upward. You might imagine it as a kind of volume control for discomfort.
Under certain conditions, this system can turn the signal down, making pain feel distant or faint. Under other conditions, it can amplify the sensation. This explains why two people with similar injuries can experience very different levels of pain. Matter matters. Even emotions and surroundings can influence how strongly pain is felt. One striking example comes from battlefield reports. Soldiers who suffer injuries during combat sometimes report surprisingly little pain in the moment. Their bodies are focused on survival and escape, and the brain temporarily lowers the volume of pain signals so that action remains possible. Later, once safety returns, the pain may increase significantly. The brain has decided that it is now safe for the body to rest and repair. A similar pattern can appear during intense physical activity. Athletes sometimes continue moving through injuries they only fully notice after the event ends. The brain again adjusts the signal according to the situation. Scientists believe this system evolved to help humans respond effectively to danger. Pain is important because it encourages protection and healing, but there are moments when immediate survival requires ignoring discomfort. Modern therapies sometimes take advantage of this built-in control system. Techniques such as distraction, relaxation, and supportive reassurance can help reduce how intensely pain is experienced. When the brain receives signals of safety, it often becomes less vigilant, and the volume of pain can soften. This does not mean pain is imaginary. The injury and the signals from the body are real, but the final experience of pain depends on how the brain interprets those signals. It is the brain that decides how loudly the alarm should ring. As you rest quietly now, your nervous system continues this balancing act. Signals travel from the body toward the brain, while the brain quietly adjusts their intensity. Most of the time, you never notice this process. It happens automatically, far below the level of conscious thought. Yet the discovery reveals something profound about the relationship between mind and body. Pain is not simply received, it is shaped. And as researchers explored this connection further, they began to notice something equally intriguing. Thoughts alone, even without physical injury, could influence another powerful system within the body, the immune system.
As scientists continued exploring the quiet relationship between thoughts and the body, they discovered something even more surprising. The mind does not only influence perception in pain, it can also affect the immune system, the body's defense against illness. At first, this idea seemed unlikely. The immune system was once thought to operate almost independently, quietly identifying harmful bacteria and viruses while the mind focused on thoughts and emotions. But modern research has revealed that the brain and the immune system communicate constantly. When you experience stress, worry, or fear, the brain sends signals throughout the body using hormones and nerve pathways. One of the most important messengers in this process is a hormone called cortisol, which helps the body respond to perceived threats. In short bursts, this stress response can be helpful. It sharpens attention, increases energy, and prepares muscles for action. But when stress continues for long periods of time, the immune system begins to change its behavior. Researchers have found that stressful experiences, such as intense exams, arguments, or long nights without sleep, can increase certain markers of inflammation in the body. Inflammation is normally part of the body's healing process. When you are injured or fighting an infection, immune cells release chemicals that increase blood flow and help protect damaged tissue. However, when the brain repeatedly signals danger through stress, the immune system may remain partially activated even when no infection is present. Over time, this can leave the body feeling tired, sore, or unusually sensitive. Some studies have even shown that prolonged stress can slow wound healing or weaken the body's response to vaccines. It is as if the immune system becomes slightly confused about where its energy should be directed. The brain and immune system are speaking constantly, and when the brain senses ongoing threat, the immune system listens. Yet this relationship also offers hope. Just as stress can activate inflammatory responses, signals of safety and relaxation can help calm them again. Activities that promote rest, social connection, and emotional comfort appear to gently reduce inflammatory activity in many people. Even simple relaxation practices, such as slow breathing, quiet reflection, or spending time in a peaceful environment, have been linked with subtle improvements in immune balance over time. The mind and body, it seems, are not separate systems at all. They are deeply intertwined, constantly exchanging information. Thoughts become signals, signals influence chemistry, chemistry shapes how the body feels and heals. As you lie quietly now, breathing slowly and allowing your body to settle into rest, your nervous system is already shifting toward a calmer state. Heart rate slows, muscles loosen, hormones gradually adjust. All of these changes happen gently and naturally when the brain begins to recognize that the environment is safe. And interestingly, one of the fastest ways to send that message of safety through the body involves something you are doing right now without even thinking about it: breathing.
As your breathing continues in its quiet rhythm, something subtle is happening inside your body. Each inhale and exhale sends signals through a remarkable communication pathway that connects the brain to many of the body's most important organs. This pathway is known as the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is one of the longest nerves in the human body. It travels from the brainstem down through the neck and chest, branching into the heart, lungs, and digestive system. Because it touches so many organs, it plays a major role in regulating how the body responds to stress and relaxation. When the body senses danger, the nervous system shifts into a state often called fight or flight. Heart rate rises, breathing becomes faster, and muscles prepare for quick movement. This response can be life-saving in moments of real threat. But when the brain recognizes safety, another system begins to take over. This calmer state is sometimes called the parasympathetic response, and the vagus nerve plays a key role in activating it. One of the simplest ways to influence this system is through the breath. When you inhale quickly and shallowly, the body tends to remain alert and tense. But when you slow the breath and gently extend the exhale, sensors in the lungs send calming signals through the vagus nerve back to the brain. These signals tell the nervous system that the environment is safe enough to relax. Within moments, the body begins to respond. Heart rate may slow slightly, blood pressure can shift, Muscles gradually release tension they may have been holding without you even noticing. Scientists have studied this response closely. In many laboratory experiments, slow and steady breathing patterns have been shown to increase something called heart rate variability. This measure reflects the small variations in time between heartbeats, and higher variability is often associated with greater resilience and emotional balance. People who practice controlled breathing regularly sometimes find that they recover from stress more quickly. Their nervous systems become better at shifting between alertness and calm. Interestingly, this breathing connection appears across many traditions and activities. Divers train themselves to slow their breathing to conserve oxygen. Singers naturally lengthen their exhalations while holding notes. Meditation practices often begin with simple awareness of the breath. Each of these activities gently strengthens the body's ability to regulate itself.
As researchers began studying the effects of meditation on the brain, many expected to find simple relaxation responses. After all, meditation often looks quiet from the outside. A person sits still, breathing slowly, with eyes closed or softly focused. But brain scans soon revealed something more interesting. Meditation is not simply rest. In many ways, it acts like training for the mind. Inside the brain, attention is controlled by networks that help you focus on one thing while ignoring distractions. These networks can strengthen with practice, much like muscles become stronger through repeated movement. When people meditate regularly, certain regions of the brain associated with attention and emotional regulation begin to show subtle changes. In some long-term practitioners, scientists have observed thicker areas of cortex in regions linked with concentration and self-control. These changes reflect a quality known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's remarkable ability to reshape itself in response to experience. Every time you repeat a behavior, focus on a thought, or practice a skill, the brain slightly adjusts its connections. Neurons that activate together repeatedly begin forming stronger pathways. Over time, those pathways become easier to use. This principle explains how people learn languages, develop musical ability, or become skilled at sports. The same idea also applies to mental habits such as attention, emotional awareness, and calmness. When meditation practices guide attention toward breathing, sensations, or gentle observation of thoughts, the brain slowly becomes more familiar with those patterns. In several studies, participants who practiced meditation consistently for around 8 weeks showed measurable differences in brain activity compared with those who had not practiced. Some reported that stressful thoughts still appeared, but they felt less pulled into them. Instead of reacting immediately, they noticed the thought, allowed it to pass, and returned attention to the present moment. This small gap between impulse and reaction can have powerful effects. It allows people to respond more thoughtfully during emotional situations. It can improve sleep by reducing the mental loops that keep the mind active late at night. It can even influence decision-making by helping the brain pause before acting. Scientists are still exploring which forms of meditation work best for different people. Some practices emphasize focused attention on the breath. Others encourage open awareness of sensations and thoughts. Still others cultivate feelings of compassion and kindness toward oneself and others. Although the techniques vary, they share a common feature.
They train the mind to observe experience without becoming overwhelmed by it. Over time, this practice can gently reshape how the brain handles stress and emotion. What once felt like an uncontrollable wave of thoughts may begin to feel more like passing clouds. As you lie quietly now, perhaps noticing the natural rise and fall of your own breathing, your brain continues its constant process of change. Neural connections strengthen, weaken, and reorganize with every experience. Even the simple act of resting and listening allows the mind to shift in subtle ways. And while meditation reveals how the brain can reshape its patterns through practice, scientists have also uncovered another curious habit of the mind. When the brain encounters missing information, it often creates stories to fill the gaps. As scientists studied memory more closely, they noticed something curious about the way the brain handles missing information. The mind does not like gaps in a story. When events feel incomplete or confusing, the brain often fills those spaces with explanations of its own. This process is known as confabulation. The word may sound technical, but the idea behind it is surprisingly familiar. Confabulation occurs when the brain creates a memory or explanation that feels completely real, even though it may not match what actually happened. Importantly, this is not the same as lying. A person who confabulates usually believes the story they are telling. Their brain is simply trying to maintain a smooth and continuous sense of reality. Scientists first noticed this phenomenon in patients who had experienced certain types of brain injury. Some individuals would confidently describe events that had never occurred or explain actions they had taken without realizing the true reason behind them. For example, a patient might insist they had already eaten breakfast when they had not. When asked why they picked up a particular object, they might create a detailed explanation even though the real cause of the action was hidden from their awareness. The brain was filling in the missing pieces of the puzzle. But what surprised researchers even more was that confabulation is not limited to rare medical cases. In subtle ways, healthy brains do something similar every day. Human memory is not a perfect recording of events like a video camera. Instead, it is more like a reconstruction. Each time you remember something, your brain rebuilds the memory using fragments of sensory details, emotions, and past experiences. Most of the time, this reconstruction is very accurate, yet small details can shift. Two people who experienced the same event may remember it slightly differently. Over time, memories can change shape as the brain updates them with new information or new interpretations. This is why eyewitness testimony in courtrooms can sometimes be unreliable. People may sincerely believe their recollections, even when certain details have been altered by the mind's natural storytelling process. The brain prefers a coherent narrative over uncertainty. When something does not quite make sense, the mind quietly fills the gap so that the story feels complete. This ability is not necessarily a flaw. In fact, it helps the brain organize experiences efficiently. Without this narrative-building system, memories might feel scattered and difficult to understand. By weaving events into meaningful stories, the brain creates the sense of a continuous life unfolding over time. As you rest here now, your own memories are stored in delicate networks of neurons spread across different regions of the brain. Some memories are vivid and detailed, others fade slowly with time. Each one is shaped by the brain's quiet process of reconstruction. And while memory can sometimes shift or adapt, scientists have also discovered something remarkable about a small number of people whose memories seem almost impossible to forget. Individuals who can recall nearly every day of their lives in astonishing detail.
As researchers continued exploring the strange flexibility of memory, they encountered a rare group of individuals whose memories seemed almost unbelievably precise. While most people remember only fragments of their past, these individuals appear able to recall nearly every day of their lives with extraordinary detail. This ability is known as highly superior autobiographical memory, often shortened to HSAM. People with this condition can often tell you exactly what happened on a specific date years or even decades ago. Ask them about a random day in the past, and they might describe what they ate for lunch, what the weather was like, and which news stories were happening at the time. Even more surprisingly, they can often tell you what day of the week that date fell on. For most of us, memory fades and blends together over time. Yesterday's events mix with last week's, and older memories slowly lose their sharp edges. But for individuals with HSAM, the past remains unusually vivid. Their minds seem to function like detailed archives, storing personal experiences in a way that allows them to be retrieved with remarkable clarity. Scientists have studied these individuals carefully to understand how their brains might differ from the typical pattern. Brain imaging studies suggest that certain regions involved in memory and organization may be more active or more strongly connected in people with this ability. Areas linked with emotional processing and habit formation sometimes appear slightly different as well. However, researchers still do not fully understand why this rare memory capacity develops. What is particularly interesting is that having such a powerful memory is not always experienced as a gift. Many people with HSAM report that their memories return automatically and vividly, whether they want them to or not. Joyful experiences may feel beautifully present, but painful moments can return just as clearly. For most people, forgetting serves an important purpose. Over time, emotional intensity fades, allowing the mind to move forward. But individuals with extremely detailed memory sometimes find that difficult memories remain just as sharp years later. Their minds replay the events almost like opening a file that has never been erased. This discovery reminds scientists that memory is not only about accuracy, it is also about balance. Forgetting certain details helps the brain focus on what is useful in the present moment. It allows emotional wounds to soften and space for new experiences to grow. In that sense, the ordinary human memory, imperfect and selective, may actually serve an important purpose. As you rest quietly now, your brain continues sorting through memories from the day. Some experiences will remain clear for a while, others will fade gently into the background. This quiet sorting process often happens during sleep, when the brain organizes and stabilizes important information. But memory is only one part of the brain's remarkable activity. Beneath every thought, sensation, and recollection, another powerful process is constantly at work. A subtle electrical energy moving through billions of neurons, forming the living language of the brain itself. Beneath every memory, sensation, and thought inside your mind, there is a quiet, electrical conversation taking place. The brain may feel soft and silent, but in reality, it is one of the most active electrical systems in the natural world. Every moment, billions of neurons are sending signals to one another through tiny bursts of electricity. Each neuron connects to thousands of others, forming vast networks that stretch across different regions of the brain. When a neuron activates, it releases a small electrical pulse that travels along its structure and passes a signal to neighboring cells. These signals move across microscopic gaps called synapses using chemical messengers. The process happens incredibly fast. Within a fraction of a second, signals can travel across complex pathways linking perception, memory, and emotion together. When enough neurons fire in coordinated patterns, the brain generates the experiences we recognize as thoughts, feelings, and awareness. If you could somehow see this activity directly, it might resemble a galaxy of tiny flashes constantly appearing and fading across a vast landscape. All of this electrical communication creates a measurable energy field. In fact, the total electrical activity generated by the brain is strong enough to power a small LED bulb. While the amount of electricity is modest compared with everyday appliances, it is still remarkable when you consider that it comes from a 3-pound organ made mostly of water and soft tissue. This electrical nature of the brain is what allows scientists to study its activity using special instruments. One common technique is called electroencephalography, or EEG. Sensors placed on the scalp detect faint electrical rhythms produced by large groups of neurons working together. These rhythms are often called brainwaves. Different brainwave patterns appear during different states of consciousness. When you are alert and focused, the brain tends to produce faster rhythms. When you relax or become drowsy, slower and smoother waves begin to appear. During deep sleep, the brain generates very slow, powerful waves that move across the cortex like rolling tides. These electrical rhythms reveal something important. Even when the body is resting completely still, the brain is far from inactive. It continues organizing information, adjusting neural connections, and maintaining the delicate systems that keep the body functioning. In many ways, the mind can be understood as a living electrical pattern that constantly shifts and reshapes itself. Every memory you have ever formed, every emotion you have ever felt, and every idea that has crossed your mind exists because of these patterns of activity flowing through neural circuits. As you lie quietly now, perhaps noticing the calm rhythm of your breathing, the same electrical symphony continues inside your brain. Signals pass from one region to another, linking sensations, memories, and imagination together in an endless exchange of information. And as the body prepares for sleep, these electrical patterns begin to change in fascinating ways. Because when night arrives and the body finally rests, the brain does not simply shut down. In some ways, it becomes even more active.
As the body gradually settles into sleep, it may appear from the outside that everything is becoming quiet and still. Muscles relax, breathing slows, and the eyes close. Yet inside the brain, something surprisingly active is unfolding. Sleep is not simply a shutdown. In many stages of sleep, the brain remains extremely busy. Scientists have discovered that sleep unfolds in cycles that repeat several times throughout the night. Each cycle contains different stages, and each stage has its own patterns of brain activity. In the earlier stages, brain waves begin to slow as the mind drifts away from waking awareness. Thoughts become less organized, and the boundary between imagination and memory starts to soften. This is the stage where brief, dream-like images sometimes appear just as you are falling asleep. As sleep deepens, the brain enters a stage known as slow-wave sleep. During this phase, large groups of neurons fire together in slow, powerful rhythms that roll across the brain like gentle waves. These slow waves are believed to play an important role in restoring the brain and strengthening memories formed during the day. While the body remains deeply relaxed, the brain quietly sorts through experiences, deciding which memories should be stabilized and which can fade away. Then, after some time, another stage arrives that seems almost paradoxical. It is called REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement sleep. During REM sleep, brain activity becomes faster and more complex again, sometimes resembling the patterns seen during wakefulness. At the same time, the body remains almost completely still because muscles are temporarily relaxed to prevent the body from acting out dreams. This is the stage where the most vivid dreams tend to occur. Inside the brain, networks responsible for emotion, imagery, and memory become highly active. The mind weaves together fragments of experiences, feelings, and ideas into the strange and often beautiful narratives we call dreams. While the body rests quietly in bed, the brain may be traveling through landscapes of memory, imagination, and possibility. Researchers believe these nighttime processes serve important functions. Dreaming may help the brain process emotional experiences, allowing difficult feelings to soften over time. Sleep also appears to strengthen learning by reinforcing neural connections formed during the day. Without enough sleep, the brain struggles to concentrate, regulate mood, and store new information.
As scientists continued studying how the mind influences the body, they discovered another surprising ability of the brain. Under certain conditions, the mind can actually change how pain is experienced, not by removing the physical signal, but by altering how the brain interprets it. One fascinating example of this is hypnosis. Hypnosis is often misunderstood as something mysterious or theatrical, but in reality, it is a state of focused attention. When someone enters hypnosis, their awareness becomes highly concentrated on a particular idea or suggestion, while other distractions fade into the background. In this focused state, the brain can begin interpreting sensations differently. Researchers studying hypnosis have used brain imaging to observe what happens during these experiences. Interestingly, the physical signal from the body may remain exactly the same, yet activity in certain brain regions changes. Areas involved in attention, meaning, and interpretation become more active, while the areas that normally amplify the emotional impact of pain may become quieter. As a result, the person may still sense the stimulus, but it feels distant, dull, or less important. Some people describe the sensation as if the pain has been moved farther away from their awareness, almost like hearing a sound from another room rather than right beside them. This does not mean the body is ignoring injury. Instead, the brain is changing how much importance it assigns to the signal. Because of this effect, hypnosis has occasionally been used in medical settings to support pain management, especially in situations where anxiety might make discomfort feel worse. Dentists, surgeons, and therapists sometimes combine hypnotic techniques with other treatments to help patients remain calm and comfortable. Of course, hypnosis is not mind control, and not everyone responds to it in the same way. Some individuals naturally enter hypnotic states more easily than others. The process works best when the person willingly participates and allows their attention to follow the suggestions being offered. Scientists often compare hypnosis to becoming deeply absorbed in a story or a film. When you are completely engaged in a movie, the outside world seems to fade away for a while. Your emotions respond strongly to the events on the screen, even though you know they are fictional. Hypnosis uses a similar mechanism, guiding the brain into a focused state where certain ideas become more influential than others. In that state, the mind may activate its own calming circuits, reducing stress and softening the experience of pain. The deeper lesson behind these discoveries is that attention itself can act like a powerful filter. Where attention goes, brain activity follows. And as you lie quietly now, perhaps noticing the gentle rhythm of your breathing and the stillness around you, your own attention is gradually becoming more calm and more relaxed. The mind is beginning to drift more slowly through thoughts and sensations. And as this quiet state deepens, researchers have found that the imagination itself can sometimes influence the body in ways that feel surprisingly real.
As this quiet exploration continues, scientists have discovered something fascinating about the imagination. The mind does not always clearly separate imagined events from real ones. In many cases, the body responds to thoughts and images almost as if they were actually happening. Consider what happens when you watch a suspenseful film. Even though you know the story is fictional, your heart may begin to beat faster, your muscles might tense, and your breathing may change slightly. The brain's threat detection system responds to the situation as if it could be real. This response occurs because the brain evolved to react quickly to potential danger. Long ago, it was far safer for the brain to assume that a possible threat was real rather than risk ignoring it. As a result, when the mind vividly imagines danger, the body may activate many of the same systems it would use during an actual emergency. Adrenaline can rise, attention sharpens, blood flow shifts toward muscles that prepare for movement. These changes happen automatically, often before conscious reasoning has time to step in and remind you that the situation is only imagined. This is why thinking about a stressful event in the future can sometimes cause physical reactions in the present moment. A person preparing for an important meeting, for example, might notice their palms becoming slightly sweaty or their stomach tightening, even though the event has not yet happened. The brain is rehearsing a possible future scenario. In many ways, this ability is useful. Mental rehearsal helps people prepare for challenges. Athletes often visualize movements before performing them, and musicians sometimes imagine playing a piece of music before touching their instruments. These imagined practices activate similar brain circuits to the real activity. But when the imagination repeatedly focuses on worst-case scenarios, the body can remain in a state of tension longer than necessary. People who struggle with anxiety sometimes feel exhausted, not because they are facing constant danger, but because their minds are repeatedly preparing the body for threats that never actually arrive. Fortunately, the imagination can also be used in the opposite direction. Therapies designed to reduce fear often encourage individuals to imagine situations while learning that they can remain safe and calm. Over time, the brain gradually updates its expectations. The alarm response becomes quieter. This process shows how flexible the mind can be.
The same imaginative ability that can create tension can also be used to build confidence and calm. As you continue resting here, breathing slowly and allowing your thoughts to move gently through your awareness, your brain is still performing its quiet work of prediction and interpretation. Some thoughts may drift past like clouds, others may fade before fully forming. And as the mind settles further into this relaxed state, scientists have uncovered another surprising habit of the brain. Even the simple act of paying attention can reshape how strongly you experience the world around you.
As researchers continued examining how attention shapes experience, they discovered that attention is not simply a spotlight shining on the world. It is also a powerful filter that decides which sensations deserve priority and which ones can fade quietly into the background. Every second, your senses gather far more information than the brain could possibly process in full detail. Light from thousands of objects reaches your eyes, countless sounds travel through the air, your skin constantly detects temperature, pressure, and movement. If the brain tried to focus on everything at once, the result would be overwhelming. Instead, the brain selects only a small portion of this incoming information for conscious awareness. Attention acts like a gatekeeper. When something captures your attention, neural activity in the brain regions connected to that sensation becomes stronger. Signals grow clearer, and the experience feels more vivid. At the same time, other signals are quietly reduced. You may have experienced this effect when reading a book in a busy place. Even though many conversations and noises are happening nearby, your mind may focus so strongly on the words in front of you that the surrounding sounds seem to fade away. Yet the moment someone nearby says your name, your attention shifts instantly. The brain is constantly deciding what matters most. This ability also explains why focusing intensely on discomfort can sometimes make it feel stronger. When attention locks onto a particular sensation, the brain amplifies the signal, giving it greater importance. Conversely, when attention moves elsewhere, the same sensation may feel less noticeable. This principle is often used in pain management techniques. Activities such as engaging conversation, music, or gentle movement can redirect attention away from discomfort, reducing how strongly the brain interprets the signal. The body remains the same, but the experience shifts. Scientists have even identified brain regions that play central roles in controlling attention. Networks in the frontal and parietal areas of the brain help guide where awareness is directed. These systems work together with emotional and memory circuits to determine what deserves focus. Interestingly, attention is not fixed, it can be trained. Practices such as meditation, mindful breathing, or focused observation gradually strengthen the brain's ability to guide attention intentionally, rather than being pulled automatically by every distraction. Over time, this can make it easier to return to a calm state, even when the mind begins to wander. As you lie quietly now, listening to the gentle flow of these ideas, your own attention may be drifting softly between the sound of the words, the rhythm of your breathing, and the quiet sensations of the body. This natural movement of attention is part of the mind's constant balancing act. Some signals become clearer, others fade away. And while attention shapes how you experience the present moment, scientists have also discovered something remarkable about how the brain organizes the sense of time itself. As attention moves quietly from one sensation to another, another remarkable ability of the brain begins to reveal itself. The mind does not simply observe time passing.
In many ways, it actively constructs the feeling of time. Think about how differently time can seem to move depending on what you are experiencing. A few minutes waiting in silence may feel long and stretched, while an hour spent in an engaging conversation can seem to pass almost instantly. The clock moves at the same steady pace, yet the experience of time changes dramatically. Scientists believe this happens because the brain does not measure time with a single internal clock. Instead, it estimates time using patterns of attention, memory, and neural activity. When many new events are happening, the brain records more information, and time later appears to have been full and rich with detail. But when experiences are repetitive or uneventful, the brain stores fewer distinct memories, and that period may seem to have passed quickly when you look back on it. Attention also plays a powerful role in how time feels in the moment. When you focus closely on the passing of time, each second becomes more noticeable, making the experience feel longer. This is why waiting for something can sometimes feel slow. But when attention is absorbed in an interesting activity, the brain stops monitoring time closely. The minutes pass quietly without much awareness. Emotion can influence this experience as well. Moments of fear or sudden surprise often feel as though time has slowed down. This effect occurs because the brain rapidly increases attention and sensory processing during intense situations. More information is recorded in a short period, giving the impression that events lasted longer than they actually did. In calmer moments, however, time may seem to flow more smoothly. The brain relaxes its monitoring systems, allowing experiences to unfold without constant measurement. As the night grows quieter and the mind becomes more relaxed, many people notice that their sense of time begins to soften. Thoughts drift more slowly. The boundary between minutes and moments becomes less important. This gentle shift is one reason why quiet reflection before sleep can feel so peaceful. The brain is no longer racing to keep track of tasks or responsibilities. Instead, it allows attention to wander more freely. Researchers believe that during these calm periods, networks in the brain associated with memory and imagination often become more active. These networks help the mind reflect on the past and quietly imagine possible futures. Sometimes this wandering state leads to creativity or unexpected insights. Other times, it simply allows the mind to relax and settle into sleep. As you continue resting here, breathing slowly and allowing your thoughts to drift, your brain is quietly adjusting its sense of time and attention. Moments stretch gently into one another. And while the mind is capable of shaping how time feels, scientists have also discovered something even more remarkable. The brain is constantly building the feeling that you are a single, continuous self moving through those moments. As time flows quietly from one moment to the next, the brain performs another extraordinary task. It creates the feeling that all of these moments belong to the same person, you. This sense of a continuous self feels so natural that we rarely question it. From childhood memories to the present moment, your experiences appear to belong to one steady identity moving through time. Yet scientists studying the brain have discovered that this sense of self is not produced by a single location. Instead, it emerges from the cooperation of many different brain systems working together. Some regions track memories from the past. Others monitor the body's internal signals, such as heartbeat and breathing. Still others interpret emotions, decisions, and social experiences. Together, these systems weave a narrative that connects yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Researchers sometimes refer to this as the brain's self-model. Rather than a fixed object, the self is a constantly updated story that the brain tells about who you are, where you came from, and what might happen next. Every new experience adds a small piece to this ongoing story. When you recall a memory, the brain briefly reactivates patterns of neural activity associated with that moment. When you imagine the future, similar networks become active as the mind constructs possible scenarios. These processes give the impression that the same person is traveling through time, carrying memories forward while anticipating what lies ahead. Interestingly, certain brain networks become especially active when the mind is not focused on an external task. Scientists call this the default mode network. This network tends to become active during quiet moments when attention turns inward. It plays a role in remembering personal experiences, reflecting on emotions, and imagining future events. In many ways, it helps maintain the sense of identity that accompanies your thoughts throughout the day. However, the sense of self is more flexible than it may seem. In certain unusual situations, such as deep meditation, intense concentration, or moments of awe, people sometimes report a temporary fading of this strong sense of identity. During these experiences, awareness may feel more open and less centered around the usual story of me. Researchers studying these states have observed shifts in activity within the default mode network, suggesting that the brain's self-model can quiet down under particular conditions. This does not mean the self disappears completely. Rather, the brain momentarily reduces the narrative that normally organizes experience. When that happens, awareness may feel calmer, broader, and less tied to personal concerns. As you lie quietly now, letting the day's thoughts slowly settle, your own brain is gently adjusting this inner narrative. Memories from the day may pass through your mind. Plans for tomorrow may appear briefly before fading again. Yet beneath all of these passing thoughts, the brain continues its quiet work of maintaining the feeling that you are the same person moving through each moment. And as scientists continue exploring this remarkable system, they have uncovered another fascinating discovery. The brain does not only store memories, it is constantly reshaping them. As researchers explored memory more deeply, they discovered something surprising about how memories are stored. Many people imagine memory as a kind of recording device, carefully saving events exactly as they happened. But the brain does not work like a video camera. Instead, memory is dynamic. Every time you recall a memory, the brain briefly opens the neural pattern that holds it. During this short window, the memory becomes flexible again before it is stored once more. Scientists call this process reconsolidation. When a memory is first formed, networks of neurons link together to represent the experience. Over time, those connections stabilize. But when the memory is recalled later, the brain partially rebuilds it, weaving together fragments of sensation, emotion, and meaning. Because of this reconstruction process, memories can gradually change. New information may become attached to older memories. Emotions associated with an event may soften or intensify depending on later experiences.
Even small details can shift without us realizing it. Two people who shared the same event might remember it in different ways years later, yet both may feel completely certain about their recollections. This flexibility of memory might seem like a flaw, but it actually serves an important purpose. If memories were perfectly fixed, the brain would struggle to adapt new knowledge to past experiences. By allowing memories to update slightly, the mind can adjust its understanding of the world. Learning, in many ways, depends on this ability. For example, if a frightening event occurs in one location, the brain may initially associate that place with danger. But if a person later returns and experiences safety there, the memory can slowly update, reducing the fear. Therapies that help people recover from trauma sometimes rely on this property of memory. By carefully recalling a memory in a safe environment, the brain has an opportunity to reshape the emotional meaning attached to it. Over time, the memory may remain, but the intense fear connected to it can fade. In this way, the brain is not only a storage system for the past, it is also a tool for adaptation. Memories are continuously refined as the brain learns from new experiences. Even during sleep, the brain replays fragments of memories, strengthening certain connections while weakening others. This quiet reorganization helps the mind prepare for future learning. As you lie here now, letting your thoughts wander gently, your brain continues sorting through the day's experiences. Some moments will be preserved more strongly, others will gradually fade into the background. This ongoing process helps the mind maintain balance between remembering and forgetting. And while memory allows the brain to carry pieces of the past forward, scientists have also discovered something fascinating about how the brain creates emotions in the present moment. Emotions are not simply reactions. In many ways, they are predictions the brain makes about what the body needs next. As scientists continued studying the brain, they began to rethink something we all experience every day: emotions. For a long time, emotions were believed to be simple reactions that automatically appeared when something happened around us. A frightening event would trigger fear, a joyful moment would create happiness. But modern neuroscience suggests that emotions may work a little differently. Rather than appearing suddenly, emotions are often constructed by the brain as it tries to interpret signals from both the body and the environment. Inside your body, countless signals are always moving toward the brain. Sensors monitor heartbeat, breathing, body temperature, and the balance of chemicals in the bloodstream. These signals help the brain understand the current condition of the body. At the same time, the brain receives information from the outside world through the senses. To make sense of all these signals, the brain constantly tries to predict what state the body might need next. In this way, emotions can be understood as the brain's best guess about what is happening and what action might be useful. For example, if the brain detects rapid heartbeat, tense muscles, and an uncertain situation in the environment, it may interpret these signals as anxiety or fear. If similar body signals appear during excitement or anticipation, the brain may label the experience as excitement instead. The physical sensations may be similar, but the brain's interpretation shapes the emotional experience. Scientists believe this predictive process helps the brain respond quickly to complex situations. Rather than analyzing every signal from scratch, the brain uses past experiences to guide emotional predictions. Memories of previous situations provide templates that help the brain decide whether a moment calls for caution, curiosity, or calm. Because of this system, emotions are deeply connected to learning and experience. Two people may react very differently to the same situation because their brains have learned different emotional patterns over time. A crowded room might feel energizing to one person, but overwhelming to another. Both reactions are the brain's attempt to interpret the signals it receives. This understanding also explains why emotional responses can gradually change as people gain new experiences. When the brain encounters familiar situations repeatedly without danger, it slowly updates its predictions. Situations that once triggered fear may begin to feel neutral or even comfortable. Emotions, in this sense, are flexible patterns shaped by both biology and experience. As you rest quietly now, breathing slowly and allowing your thoughts to drift, your brain continues monitoring signals from the body and the world around you. Most of this activity happens below the level of conscious awareness. The mind quietly balances sensations, memories, and predictions to create the feelings that move through your awareness. And while emotions help guide how we respond to the present moment, scientists have also uncovered something remarkable about how the brain manages energy. Every thought, memory, and sensation depends on a delicate balance of energy flowing through the brain's networks.
As this quiet journey through the mind continues, it becomes clear that every thought, emotion, and sensation depends on one very important resource: energy. Although the brain makes up only about 2% of the body's total weight, it consumes a surprisingly large amount of the body's available energy supply. In fact, the brain uses roughly 20% of the body's available energy while you are awake. This energy powers the billions of neurons that communicate with one another every second. Each time a neuron sends a signal, tiny amounts of energy are required to move electrical charges across its membrane and release chemical messengers into synapses. Multiply that process by billions of neurons, and the result is a constant demand for fuel. The brain receives most of this energy in the form of glucose and oxygen carried by the bloodstream. Even when you are resting quietly, your brain remains active enough to require a steady flow of both. If the supply of oxygen or glucose drops for too long, brain cells quickly begin to struggle. Because of this high energy demand, the brain has evolved systems to manage its resources carefully. One way it does this is by predicting what information is most important to process. Rather than analyzing every detail of the environment, the brain focuses on patterns that are likely to matter. This efficiency allows the mind to operate smoothly without wasting energy on unnecessary signals. Scientists sometimes describe this as the brain's effort to minimize surprise. When events unfold in ways the brain expects, neural activity remains relatively efficient. But when something unexpected happens, the brain must quickly adjust its predictions. That adjustment requires additional energy as networks of neurons update their patterns. This is one reason unfamiliar or complex tasks can feel mentally tiring. The brain is working harder to build new predictions and organize unfamiliar information. Over time, as the brain learns these patterns, the task becomes easier and requires less effort. You may have noticed this effect when learning a new skill.
At first, every step requires concentration and attention. But with practice, the same activity begins to feel automatic. The brain has created more efficient neural pathways. Sleep plays an important role in maintaining this balance of energy as well. During sleep, the brain restores chemical supplies and clears waste products that accumulate during active thinking. This nightly maintenance helps ensure that neurons remain ready to communicate effectively the next day. As you lie quietly now, breathing slowly and allowing your body to relax, your brain is already shifting toward a more energy-efficient state. Thoughts begin to slow. Attention softens. Neural activity gradually reorganizes itself in preparation for rest. Even in this calm state, however, the brain continues performing its remarkable work. Signals move gently across networks that maintain awareness, memory, and emotion. And as scientists continue exploring the mysteries of the mind, they have uncovered another fascinating ability of the brain. The mind is capable of quietly influencing the body's internal rhythms, including the steady beat of the heart itself. As researchers continued exploring the connection between the brain and the body, they discovered that the mind quietly influences many of the body's internal rhythms. One of the most important of these rhythms is the steady beat of the heart. Although the heart has its own electrical system that allows it to beat on its own, the brain constantly communicates with it through the nervous system. Signals travel back and forth along nerve pathways, adjusting how fast or slow the heart should beat depending on what the body needs in each moment. When the brain senses excitement, stress, or physical effort, it sends signals that increase heart rate. This helps deliver more oxygen and nutrients to muscles and organs. But when the brain recognizes that the environment is safe and calm, different signals begin to flow. These calming signals encourage the heart to slow slightly and beat in a more flexible rhythm. Scientists often study this flexibility using a measure called heart rate variability. Rather than beating at a perfectly steady pace like a metronome, a healthy heart naturally changes its rhythm from moment to moment. The small differences between heartbeats reflect the nervous system constantly adjusting the body to changing conditions. Higher heart rate variability is often associated with a nervous system that can shift smoothly between alertness and relaxation. It suggests that the body can respond quickly to challenges and then return to a calm state once the challenge has passed. Breathing plays an important role in this process. When you inhale, the heart rate tends to increase slightly. When you exhale, it slows again. This subtle rhythm between breath and heartbeat creates a natural wave of activity inside the body. By slowing the breath and extending the exhale, people can gently encourage the nervous system to move toward a calmer state. Researchers have observed that steady breathing patterns practiced over time can improve heart rate variability in some individuals. This may help the body regulate stress more effectively. The connection between breath, brain, and heart illustrates how closely the mind and body work together. A single calm breath can send signals through the nervous system that ripple throughout the body. Muscles relax, heart rhythm softens, attention becomes quieter. As you lie here now, breathing slowly and comfortably, your own heart is responding to these signals. Each breath gently guides the rhythm of the body toward rest. The brain continues its quiet communication with the heart, lungs, and other organs, maintaining balance without requiring conscious effort.
This delicate coordination is happening every moment of your life. Yet even with all this constant activity, the brain is also capable of entering states of remarkable calm and stillness. Scientists studying these states have discovered that the brain sometimes shifts into patterns where thoughts slow dramatically and awareness becomes very quiet. These states often appear just before sleep begins.
As the body grows quieter and the night deepens, the brain sometimes enters a gentle state where thoughts begin to slow and awareness softens. This transition often appears in the moments just before sleep, when the mind drifts between wakefulness and dreaming. Scientists call this stage the hypnagogic state. During this period, the brain is no longer fully focused on the outside world, but it has not yet entered deep sleep either. Instead, the mind moves through a peaceful middle ground where imagination, memory, and sensation begin to blend together. Many people experience brief images or fragments of sound during this stage. You might see shapes, colors, or scenes that appear for only a moment before fading away. Sometimes a memory from earlier in the day may surface and dissolve again almost immediately. These experiences happen because the brain's attention systems are gradually loosening their control. While you are fully awake, certain regions of the brain work together to keep thoughts organized and focused on the present environment. But as sleep approaches, those systems begin to relax. Other networks connected to memory, creativity, and imagination become more active. This shift can allow unusual connections to form between ideas that might not normally meet during waking thought. For this reason, the hypnagogic state has long fascinated artists, inventors, and scientists. Some people have reported receiving creative insights or unexpected solutions to problems during these drifting moments between wakefulness and sleep. The brain is briefly free from the strict patterns of logical thinking that guide most daytime activity. Instead, ideas can combine in new and surprising ways. Of course, these moments usually pass quickly. Within a short time, the brain continues its descent into deeper stages of sleep, where the body reaches full rest and dreams begin to form more clearly. But the hypnagogic state offers a small glimpse of how flexible the mind can be. Even in the quiet transition towards sleep, the brain remains active, exploring connections between memories, sensations, and imagination. As you continue resting here, perhaps already feeling more relaxed than before, your brain may slowly begin approaching this gentle state. Thoughts may appear and disappear more softly. The edges between ideas may blur slightly. There is no need to control this process. Sleep arrives most easily when the mind is allowed to wander without effort. The brain naturally knows how to move from wakefulness into rest. And while these quiet transitions prepare the body for sleep, scientists have also discovered something remarkable about what the brain does once sleep fully begins. During the night, the brain does not simply store memories, it also reorganizes them, weaving together experiences from the past with possibilities for the future.
As sleep continues through the night, the brain quietly begins one of its most important tasks, organizing memories. While the body rests, the mind moves through patterns of activity that help sort, strengthen, and reshape the experiences of the day. Throughout your waking hours, the brain constantly collects information. Conversations, sights, sounds, emotions, and small details all pass through neural circuits and leave traces behind. But these traces are not immediately stored in their final form.
Instead, many of them remain temporary at first. Scientists believe that during sleep, especially during deep sleep and REM sleep, the brain reviews these experiences and decides which ones are important enough to keep. In this process, the brain replays fragments of recent experiences. Groups of neurons that were active during the day begin firing again in similar patterns, almost as if the brain is quietly rehearsing what happened earlier. This nightly rehearsal helps explain why sleep is so important for learning. When people study new information and then sleep, they often remember it better than if they had stayed awake for the same amount of time. Sleep provides the brain with a quiet opportunity to reinforce what matters most. But memory consolidation is only part of the story. During sleep, the brain may also begin linking memories together in new ways. Separate experiences that occurred during the day can become connected through shared patterns or meanings. This process sometimes leads to new insights. You may have heard of people waking up with solutions to problems they struggled with the night before. While sleeping, the brain had continued working quietly in the background, exploring connections between ideas. Dreams may play a role in this creative process as well. During dreaming, emotional and memory networks interact in unusual ways, allowing the mind to experiment with combinations of experiences that might not occur during normal waking thought. The results can appear strange or symbolic, yet they often reflect real emotions and concerns stored in the mind. As you lie quietly now, allowing your body to relax further into the calm of the night, your brain is preparing for these gentle cycles of memory processing. Signals will move across networks that review the past and strengthen useful patterns. In this quiet way, the sleeping brain helps shape the thoughts, skills, and memories you will carry into tomorrow. And while the brain carefully organizes the past during sleep, it also continues preparing for something else, the future.
As the brain quietly organizes memories from the past, it is also doing something else that is just as remarkable. It is preparing for the future. The mind does not only store what has already happened, it constantly uses those memories to imagine what might happen next. Scientists sometimes refer to this ability as mental simulation. The same brain networks that help you remember past experiences also help you picture possible future events. When you imagine a conversation, plan a journey, or think about tomorrow's tasks, your brain begins assembling pieces of memory into new combinations. Fragments of places you have seen, voices you have heard, and situations you have experienced before are woven together into imagined scenes. In a sense, the brain rehearses the future. This ability provides an important advantage. By simulating possible outcomes, the brain can prepare responses before situations actually occur. It allows you to anticipate challenges, plan solutions, and adapt more quickly when the moment arrives. Even simple decisions often rely on this quiet mental rehearsal. When choosing between two options, the brain may briefly imagine the results of each choice. These imagined outcomes help guide decisions without requiring real-world trial and error. Interestingly, the brain does not always distinguish clearly between remembering the past and imagining the future. Brain imaging studies have shown that many of the same regions become active during both activities. Areas within the hippocampus, which are essential for memory, also participate when people imagine future events. This suggests that memory is not only a record of the past.
It is also the raw material the brain uses to construct possible futures. Dreaming during sleep may also contribute to this process. In dreams, the mind freely combines memories, emotions, and imagined possibilities. The resulting scenes may seem strange or unpredictable, yet they may allow the brain to explore emotional experiences and potential situations in a safe environment. Some scientists believe that dreaming helps the brain practice responding to challenges, similar to a rehearsal before a performance. While the body remains safely at rest, the mind can experiment with many possibilities. As you lie quietly now, perhaps feeling your thoughts becoming slower and more relaxed, your brain continues performing these subtle simulations. Memories from the day mix gently with imagination. Ideas appear briefly and drift away again. Most of this activity happens below the level of conscious awareness, yet it plays an important role in helping the mind adapt to an ever-changing world. The brain is constantly learning from the past while preparing for what may come next. And as researchers continue exploring this remarkable ability of the mind, they have begun to understand something even more profound. The brain is not simply reacting to the world. In many ways, it is continuously creating the experience of the world itself.
As this quiet journey through the mind continues, one idea becomes clearer and clearer. The brain does not simply observe the world. In many ways, it helps create the experience of the world itself. Everything you see, hear, and feel begins as signals traveling through the nervous system. Light reflects from objects and enters the eyes. Vibrations move through the air and reach the ears. Pressure and temperature travel through nerves in the skin. But these raw signals alone are not the full experience. Inside the brain, millions of neurons work together to interpret those signals. They compare incoming information with memories, expectations, and past experiences. Through this process, the brain constructs the reality that you experience moment by moment. In other words, perception is not just about receiving information, it is about interpretation. The brain constantly asks quiet questions behind the scenes. What is most likely happening right now? What patterns match what I have seen before? When the brain finds familiar patterns, it fills in missing details automatically. For example, when you read a sentence, your brain does not analyze every letter one by one. Instead, it recognizes whole shapes of words based on past experience. Even if a letter is slightly unclear, the brain usually guesses the correct word without difficulty. This predictive ability allows perception to feel smooth and effortless. Without it, the world might seem confusing and delayed as the brain struggled to interpret each piece of information separately. But because the brain predicts and organizes sensory signals so efficiently, the world appears stable and meaningful. Scientists often describe perception as a collaboration between the senses and the brain's expectations. Your eyes provide information about light and color, but the brain interprets what those signals mean. Your ears detect vibrations, but the brain identifies them as voices, music, or environmental sounds. The final experience you feel is the result of both processes working together. This also explains why people can sometimes interpret the same situation differently. Each brain brings its own memories, beliefs, and emotional history into the process of perception. Those experiences shape how the mind organizes incoming information.
Yet, despite these differences, the brain performs this complex construction of reality so smoothly that it rarely feels like a construction at all. Instead, it feels like simply being present in the world. As you rest quietly now, perhaps noticing the calm rhythm of your breathing or the gentle stillness around you, your brain continues performing this remarkable act of interpretation. Signals from your body and environment flow through neural pathways, forming the experience of this peaceful moment. And as the night grows deeper and your thoughts begin to soften further, the mind prepares for its final, gentle transition, the slow and natural movement into sleep.
And now, as this quiet journey through the mind gently comes to an end, the brain begins preparing for its most natural transition, sleep. Throughout this exploration, we have moved through many layers of the mind. We have seen how thoughts emerge from tiny electrical signals traveling between neurons. We have explored how memories are formed, reshaped, and quietly organized during the night. We have discovered how expectations can influence perception, how attention shapes what we notice, and how even imagination can guide the body's reactions. All of these processes are happening constantly inside your mind, even when you are not aware of them. And now, as the night grows calmer around you, those same systems are slowly shifting into a different rhythm. The brain is preparing to rest. Your breathing may have become slower. Muscles that carried small tensions during the day may now be loosening. The nervous system is gradually turning down its signals of alertness and turning up its signals of calm. This transition does not require effort. In fact, sleep often arrives most easily when the mind stops trying to control it. The brain has spent your entire life practicing this nightly process. It knows exactly how to move from waking awareness into deeper stages of rest. Neural activity begins to change its patterns. Faster rhythms associated with focused thinking gradually give way to slower, smoother waves. Thoughts that once felt sharp may begin to blur softly at the edges. Some ideas may drift through your awareness like distant echoes. Others may fade before they fully form. This gentle wandering of the mind is completely natural. It is the doorway through which sleep usually arrives. Soon, the brain will move into the familiar cycles of sleep that repeat throughout the night. Memories from the day will be quietly reviewed and organized. Emotional experiences will be softened and processed. The body will restore energy and prepare itself for a new day. While you sleep, your brain will continue working quietly in the background, strengthening useful connections, clearing unnecessary noise, and maintaining the delicate systems that keep your mind and body balanced. By morning, many of these processes will have happened without you ever noticing them. You will simply wake up feeling clearer, calmer, and ready to begin again. For now, though, there is nothing more you need to do. Let the thoughts slow. Let the breathing remain steady. Allow the quiet of the night to carry you gently toward rest. Your mind has already begun the journey, and with each slow breath, sleep may come a little closer.